Hey everyone, welcome back to another Beast of the Mesozoic review. Today we're taking a look at the highly anticipated Utahraptor ostrommaysi. Man, it always feels good reviewing a Beast of the Mesozoic figure on the channel. One of my favorite dinosaur toy lines of all time. Now this Utahraptor has been highly requested ever since Beast of the Mesozoic came out with their Raptor series back when they were 1/6 scale. Now that the line has pretty much shifted to 1/18 scale, a Utahraptor became much more feasible, and it has finally made its appearance in the line. This figure is going to retail for $80. If you end up pre-ordering it, you would have saved $10 and it would cost you around $70. But if you haven't ordered it yet, I'll leave a link down below in the description to Creative Beast Studios if you want to pick one up for yourself. And let's take a quick look at the packaging. This is the first Beast of the Mesozoic figure, along with its wavemate, the Killibator, to not feature a series name on the box. Everything's either been Ceratopsian, Raptors, or Tyrannosaur series. Now that we're actually getting a mix of species, the series logo should be done. We have some beautiful artwork of the Utahraptor on the side of the box. On the back, beautiful product shot of the figure, and we have some pictures of some previously released figures that actually sold out. These figures are now re-released in the line. It's the Chasmosaurus, Zuniceratops, and Guanlong, and we also have the Utahraptor's wavemate, a Killibator, also pictured. So anyways, let's just crack this figure open and take a look at this big feathered beast. And here is the beautiful Utahraptor out of the packaging with all its included accessories. We have the standard base that we've seen with pretty much every bipedal Beast of the Mesozoic figure. We have the new support base, which I'm really interested in trying out. We have a pair of running toe feet, and of course we get the beautiful artwork card of the Utahraptor chasing down a juvenile Hippodraco, which is a type of North American iguanodon. Very, very cool. Would love to get a figure of that, but I doubt that's highly unlikely. Utahraptor has become quite the popular dinosaur over the years. That is mainly due to Jurassic Park. Utahraptor was described in 1993, and Jurassic Park also released in 1993. When the movie was being developed, it's known for its oversized velociraptors. At that point, there was no known dromaeosaurs even close to the size of velociraptors were going to be portrayed in that movie until Utahraptor was announced. And with the popularity of the movie at the time, the news headlines just ran with it, with this giant raptor being discovered in Utah, to coincide with Jurassic Park. And just like most figures in the BoTM series, the color scheme is based off real-life animals, and the Utahraptor is based off the harpy eagle, and the Cyberzoic version of the Utahraptor, which will be released, I think, sometime in 2025, is also based off a variation of the harpy eagle. So if you get both figures, it's going to look like a really nice mated pair. Utahraptor is one of the largest, if not the largest, dromaeosaurus. So that means it's time for some measurements. The figure is 15 inches long from the tip of the snout to the tip of the tail, or around 38.1 centimeters, about 4 inches tall. To the top of the head, or just over 10 centimeters. So Utahraptor in real life was between 18 to 23 feet long, or 5 to 7 meters. So I put this figure nicely the 114 to the 118 scale range. Taking a closer look at the figure, Utahraptor had a short, boxy skull for a dromaeosaur. You can see it's beautifully recreated on this figure. The eye is done white with a black pupil. You have a nice little deep blue streak behind the eye. Top of the head is some nice feathered detail, all done in a bone white color with just a little bit of dry brushing of light brown. Going down to the snout, you can see the nostrils nicely sculpted in. A nice mixture of dark and light browns for the snout. Lower jaw is partially feathered. You got more of that bone white coloration and some nice washes of that dark brown. Inside the mouth, we have some very bright pink gum tissue, and all the teeth are decked out in white. Going down to the neck, you can see some excellent feather detail, more of that bone white and dark brown. Going down to the body, almost like an iridescent sheen, especially on the shoulder. It almost has like a brass copper look to it, and some nicely sculpted feathers all over the torso. Going down to the forearms, the primary feathers are all beautifully individually sculpted. Seriously, just look at the detail on each of these feathers. A lot of awesome paintwork on there. We got light browns, rusty reds. We have a nice white stripe running through there. It's just such a nice natural look on those forearms. And on the other side of the arm, you can see the hands are not feathered. You have those nice menacing-looking razor-sharp claws all decked out in glossy black paint, and all those primary feathers are all nicely sculpted on the other side. Utahraptor had a very short, stout hind legs, not meant for sprinting, but meant more for ambushing. So these guys probably just laid in bushes, waiting for its prey to pass, and after a short chase, would pin it down with sheer strength and just absolutely shred it. And speaking of shredding, going down to the feet, we got a nice look at the killing claw, all decked out in nice glossy black paint. And going down to the tail with some beautiful plumage on the tail, especially at the tip. Check out all that nice feather detail on the tail. Get some nice browns and white striping effect going all the way down the tail. And lastly, let's take a view of the underside of the figure, starting with the tail with a nice cream coat for the underside with all that beautiful feather detail. And then going down to the underside of the belly, we got more of that cream coat before we get to the throat with that dark brown coloration. For articulation, mouth can close completely flush, and you can open up the mouth about that far. For the head and neck, head can look up that far, and it can look down about that far. And on the double jointed neck, you can get some really, really nice side to side movement using all those joints in tandem. Forearms can rotate 360 degrees. They can swing out to about 90 degrees, and you get a nice little bit of bend at the elbow. Not as much as I would like, but it is just over 90 degrees going forward. And at the wrist, you do get some nice downwards and upwards movement on that joint. For the torso joint, you can get some nice downwards movement on that, as well as some nice side to side, and you get about that much upwards movement on that joint. Hind leg can move backwards and forwards, and there is a little bit of a hip pivot on those joints to get the legs to spread out just a little bit if you need a little bit more stability. And for the knee joint, that's about as straight as it can go, and you can bend it back about that far. Really not as much as I would like. It's always been my biggest complaint about these figures. I wish there was a little bit more range in the knees. I think you can get some more dynamic poses, but it's always the compromise about how David wants to do these figures. He wants them to look natural while also being action figures, so that is kind of a compromise, but I absolutely love a double jointed knee, just get a little bit more range out of there. And for the ankles, you get some nice rotation at the ankle, and you can extend the ankles pretty much straight, and they'll bend in about that far. For the feet, you also get rotation, and you do have articulation on that killing claw. Get some nice up and down movement on that. And then these are new types of feet. These are actually disc joints, no more ball joints on the future Cyberzoic and Mesozoic figures. So you get about that much movement on that joint, and it can move up about that far. And I'm gonna pop it off and show you the type of joint. Now, before it was just the foot was just a hollow ball to clip into a ball joint coming off it. So now you have these nice disc joints in here. I'm just showing you how they work, and they work pretty good. I'm very excited. It's much easier to change the feet out on this Raptor versus the Tyrannosaurs. And just to show you what I mean, I'm gonna pop on the running foot so you can see how that looks on the figure. And same thing on the running foot, you do get articulation on that killing claw. And going down to the tail, you do have a double jointed tail at this joint right here. You got some nice rotation and a little bit of up and down movement and a tiny bit of side to side. For the main joint, this is all one bendy rubber wire piece. You do get movement on the second joint right here, and also you do get some nice bend with that wire joint in the tail for some really, really neat poses. Taking a quick look at the two included bases. This one right here is the standard base, just done in clear plastic. We've seen this with pretty much every, small to mid-size BoTM bipedal figure over the years. You've got the clear support rod on the ball joint, and you've got this little U-shaped notch right here to support the chest of the figure. It's nice that this was included. I just feel like it's a little bit too small for the size of the Utahraptor. I threw it up on the base, and it barely touches its chest. So yeah, it's it's a display option. Options are good. And this one right here is a new type of display base. We're gonna see this with a lot of these Cyberzoic figures. There's a lot of different display options by swiveling around this piece right here, and I did play around with it, and it does slide around a lot. And I feel like a rubber pad on the bottom of these would add some friction, so it doesn't slide around on these smooth surfaces. However, the way the Utahraptor is designed, I find that it just displays well resting on its primary feathers on the forearms. You can get a lot of nice poses without the display bases. The articulation is really good in the figure. I got this thing in a couple unique poses, and it is actually balanced enough to stand up on its two legs without using those primary feathers for support. Moving on with comparisons, here it is with the Hammock Collection Dr. Alan Grant. This is a 3 3/4 inch figure, which is around 1/18 scale, so these mix in beautifully with the BoTM figures, and just shows you what a massive beast Utahraptor was in real life. Next up, we have the 1/6 scale Dromaeosaurus and the 1/18 scale. The 1/6 scale is from the OG Raptor series, which kickstarted Beast of the Mesozoic, and what a long way we've come. The figures with each series has become better and better, just better sculpted and better paintwork. Just love seeing this line evolve over the years, and I'm so pumped for Cyberzoic. I'm a huge Dino Rider fan, and I just cannot wait for those figures to come out. And we also have the 1/18 scale Dromaeosaurus, and we are getting a Deinonychus, which is another figure I'm highly anticipating. Deinonychus is one of my favorite dinosaurs of all time. So yeah, the Raptors are all coming in different shapes and sizes now, and it looks fantastic. Next up, here it is with the old Rosaurus Carnage Collection Deinonychus. I always say these were like the precursors to BoTM. These were one of the very few articulated dinosaur action figures. I think these were available like in the late 90s, early 2000s. Great figures, extremely fragile. I'm surprised most of my figures have held up over the years. I think the only fatality I have out of the whole collection is my Velociraptor. The jaw and head just popped off, and they just notoriously had very, very, very bad pin joints. And Beast of the Mesozoic figures are basically bricks compared to Rosaurus. Next up, here are a few Utahraptor figures from other companies over the years. For such a popular species, there's been surprisingly very few good Utahraptor figures. In the back over here, we have the Kenner Jurassic Park Series 2, which is just an awesome toy. I actually got my hands on this figure a year ago. It's just one of the figures I never got as a kid. It just made me so happy to finally get my hands on one. In front of it is last year's Safari limited take on Utahraptor, which is an extremely accurate version, just like Beast of the Mesozoics. And to the side of that is the old Toyway Walking with Dinosaur Utahraptor, which was like pretty much the animal's like first, big screen appearance. Schleich and Collecte did them too, but those are pretty laughable versions, especially Schleich. I've never ever reviewed Schleich on the channel, and I do not plan to. So it's nice to see Utahraptor getting some justice done with accurate representations like Safaris and BoTMs. And of course, we at least have to do a couple comparisons to the other articulated dinosaur toy line out there. Mattel's Hammock Collection. We have the new Giganotosaurus and Velociraptor Blue. I love both lines. Hammock Collection for its movie accuracy, and of course BoTM for their scientific accuracy. But the best part is both these lines are sculpted in 1/18 scale, which means they mix beautifully together. I always tell everyone, especially the Jurassic collectors, check out BoTM. The figures work really, really, really well with each other, and it's just a great time to be a dinosaur collector. We have to have all these awesome figures out here. We are truly living in the golden age of collection. And lastly, in these comparisons with some BoTM comparisons, we got the amazing looking Gorgosaurus, the Utahrceratops, Proceratosaurus, and Zuniceratops. This is just a small fraction of the species variety we already have in this line, and they're done with family series. We did Raptors, Ceratops, and Tyrannosaurs. Moving forward with Cyberzoic, we have a big mix of species coming out. We got Stegosaurus, Allosaurus, Acrocanthosaurus, Dilophosaurus. The list goes on and on. So excited for the future of BoTM and Cyberzoic. I can't wait, but my wallet is terrified. So final thoughts on Beast of the Mesozoic Utahraptor. The very few accurate Utahraptor figures out there, this is definitely the best one. It's a very large and fun figure to play around with. The sculpting and detail is, amazing, spot on for what we come to expect from BoTM. Just absolutely love all the nice natural browns and white. All of this figure has a nice natural look. Some of the figures, especially from the Ceratopsian series, are quite bright and vivid, and I kind of like the more toned down natural look. This is definitely going to be a fan favorite among a lot of people. The articulation is good. You can get this figure in some pretty fun poses, even without the base. Just using those primary feathers on the forearms help with a lot of nice dramatic poses. And like I said at the beginning of the review, you can pre-order this figure on Creative Beast Studios. Link is down below in the description. So that will do it for the review. Still got to catch up on a bunch of Jurassic World stuff. I got the Strike Attack, Chasmosaurus, Gastonia, and that Ben Chaos Theory set that I'm never ever going to review because I just keep getting more and more new stuff in. So stay tuned for those reviews. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and it's greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.